Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we sift through the corporate jargon so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Booz Allen Hamilton's latest annual report, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. We're talking government, contracts, cyber threats, and a whole lot of numbers. You might need a strong cup of coffee for this one, and before we get started, if you appreciate getting the straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. Also, join our Discord channel in the description below for more discussions. Let's kick things off with a big number. Over $20 billion. That's the market value of Booz Allen's stock held by non-affiliates as of the end of September. That's a huge pie, making them a pretty big player. They are looking at the fiscal year ended in March. Now let's go ahead and find out what's inside. Booz Allen is positioning itself as a high-tech firm, not just your average government contractor. Think AI, cybersecurity, digital transformation, even space. They're trying to be at the forefront of what they call dual-use tech, which means technologies that can serve both government and commercial purposes. Their core strategy hinges on a few things, blending mission experience with cutting-edge tech, which sounds great, but it's a crowded space. They are focusing on VOLDI strategy, which stands for Velocity, Leadership, and Technology. Translation, be fast, be in charge, and be techie. It's all about getting ahead of the curve and scaling quickly. Okay, let's look at where the money comes from. Defense customers are their bread and butter, bringing in $509 billion, about 49% of their revenue. That's up from last year, so defense is still a strong area for them. Intelligence clients are next, with 1.9 clients are next, with $1.9 billion a FI. They get contracts mostly through two methods, definite contracts and indefinite contract vehicles. The first is pretty simple, fixed services or products. The second is more complex, indefinite delivery contracts. They win a spot and then have to compete for each task order. 85% of their revenue comes from these IDIQ contracts. The reliance on these contracts and task orders might sound complex, but let me put it simply, their top IDIQ contract brings in 18% of their revenue, and their largest task order under an IDIQ contract is just 4%. So they're not overly reliant on any single contract, which is good risk management. They have quite a few outstanding shares, over 124 million shares of Class A common stock as of May. Now let's take a quick look at Booz Allen's human capital. They boast 35,800 employees, a significant chunk of which are veterans, and 72% hold security clearances. That's a lot of cleared folks. They really push their commitment to veterans and aim for a culture of heart and performance. As a government contractor, Booz Allen walks a tightrope of regulations. They have to deal with everything from procurement rules to ethics, and even restrictions on hiring former government employees. Failure to comply can mean fines, penalties, or even being barred from future contracts. One of their biggest risk factors is government spending. Changes in government priorities, budget cuts, or even government shutdowns can hit them hard. And of course, cybersecurity is a massive concern, with potential breaches posing big risks to their reputation and finances. They depend on contracts awarded through competitive bidding, which they win most of the time. The new presidential administration could bring about changes to their existing contracts. They are aware of cyber attacks, internal system failures, or vulnerabilities in our products. Using AI introduces a new set of risks, including liability and legal frameworks around AI. Efforts to change how the US government reimburses compensation-related costs could put their revenues and profits at risk. Like many companies, Booz Allen has significant debt, roughly $4 billion. This debt could limit their flexibility and make them vulnerable to economic downturns. And as a public company, the price of their stock can be volatile and influenced by things outside their control, which creates some challenges. They carry a large amount of goodwill on their books, which represents the premium they paid for past acquisitions. If those acquisitions don't perform as expected, they might have to write down the value of that goodwill, hurting their profits. Let's see how they manage cybersecurity risks. They have programs that identify threats. This program is overseen by a committee, and they contract a third party. They use the NIST cybersecurity framework. And finally, there's a bunch of pretty standard legal disclaimers. Alright, let's quickly jump to the financial highlights for fiscal year 2025. Total revenue reached almost $12 billion, up 12% from last year. Great news. Operating income jumped by 35% to 1.37. Now to tapping on, let's take a look at some non-GAAP numbers. They want us to use a measure called adjusted EBITDA. Revenue excluding billable expenses came in at $8.2 billion. Then adjusted EBITDA was about $1.3 billion. The reconciliation is pretty normal, so let's keep moving tack. Now, what's my take on all of this? Booz Allen seems to be navigating a complex landscape pretty well. They're clearly making a push into new technologies like AI and cybersecurity. That's the right direction, but execution is everything. They need to prove they can do more than just talk the talk. There are a lot of competitors and a lot of red tape to fight through. Relying so heavily on government contracts has pros and cons. It provides stability, but they are at the mercy of political wins and budget cuts. They have a good grasp of what they need to do and how to do it. Their debt level is something to watch, and any big economic shock could make things tricky. However, if they keep growing revenue and managing costs, they should be okay. Basically, Booz Allen is a company in transition. They're trying to transform into a tech-savvy powerhouse, but they need to execute to stay on top in that competitive world. Alright, that's our breakdown of Booz Allen Hamilton's annual report. What do you think about their strategy and their transformation plans? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.